It all used to be so simple. 3 networks providing television programming, delivering 30 shares. Powerhouse AMs, little FMs. Cable was just a way of cleaning up a broadcast signal, and home VCRs were just a glint in Sony's eyes. A lot's changed.
When future archaeologists want to find out what was happening at the end of the 20th century, this may be all they'll need. It's a universal remote control. And with this one tool, I can choose from hundreds of different sources of entertainment and information. Broadcast TV and radio, cable, VCRs, compact discs.
And with those choices come a lot of important questions. Network TV stations have dominated American broadcasting for decades. Will that be true tomorrow? CNN is stealing their news beats. HBO has grabbed their first-run films. Even news series are now being produced specifically for cable. And how long can ABC, CBS, and NBC affiliates expect to have local news all to themselves?
Independent TV stations filled a certain hole very nicely in the 70s with old series, old movies, sports, and kids shows. But doesn't this sound a lot like what we see every day now on national networks like ESPN, Nick at Night, USA, and Lifetime? Is the Fox Network's program schedule really all a local UHF needs to stay competitive locally?
Radio, immediacy, niche programming, new music, and the most cost-efficient way for advertisers to get the word out. But be honest, didn't MTV, VH1, and even TNN imitate radio CHR, adult contemporary, and country formats? And how much longer will the majority of local cable systems just sit around not selling ad space? When they do start aggressively selling, won't they be almost as cost-efficient as radio?
Cable is getting a lot of attention. Families all over the state are plugging into Lifetime, CNN, MTV, and even HBO. Good national programming, very attractive, a real draw. But what's the next step for local cable operators? Can they really hope to succeed over the long haul without in turn plugging into their own community's local concerns? You know, an older building like this one, New York's Capitol, reminds us of some things. That even though the way the communications game is played keeps changing, the basics still remain the basics.
America's communication system is a local system. Local radio stations, local television stations, local cable systems. They outlet the programming that advertisers choose to support in order to reach their key consumer groups. And competition at the local level has always been about who does that job the best, given each particular advertiser's needs.
Advertisers want stable, reliable audiences, no matter which particular target demographic they're trying to reach. Hundreds of high-quality national programming sources are out there for the taking, but they do only part of the job.
The key to future competitive success is local identity, programming that affects people's lives where they live, programming with immediacy and impact.
And that's where we come in. Statewide Media Group, advertiser-supported news services for broadcasting and cable, focused to meet competitive pressures head-on.
You know, whatever's news today, that's what I want to know.
State news as well as local news.
I think the local news is just as important as the worldwide.
SMG's local television news service. Offered on a market-exclusive basis, network TV stations can now have their own Capitol Bureau. Not just in a crisis, but consistent daily bureau services. No other station in your market can promote coverage this immediate. Live shots, packages, VOs. You tell us what you need and we do the work. Our new staff of 30 professionals will be serving multiple markets. That means your costs are kept low. We'll even pick up the satellite time on our end.
What's going on in Albany interests me.
I don't have that grave an interest in who was robbed, at what convenience market.
Who's being corrupt and who's not being corrupt.
I listen to the news on the radio when I'm having my breakfast.
SMG's local radio news service, similar to our Capitol Bureau services for television, also available only on a market-exclusive basis. Reports, actualities, full billboards, and background. Produced by a team of New York's best radio reporters. experienced in the politics and issues of our state and its communities, and we pay for your daily feeds, either by satellite or phone, depending upon your choice.
I'm one person that believes in news all the time.
I like something short and to the point.
State news, a 5 or 10 minute summary probably would suffice.
SMG's New York Now, providing live-anchored, satellite-delivered news updates, 4 minutes each, for local cable insertion and headline news at 25 and 55 past the hour. Stories from throughout the state, covered as they happen. Now cable operators can begin selling news adjacencies to advertisers looking for local news imaging, without the heavy costs of starting a full local news show.
I could utilize that at different times of day instead of just 6 and 11.
I could tune in anytime I was ready to watch the news.
I'd like to get the most amount of news in the least amount of time.
Through taxes, it affects me. Anything in New York State affects me.
SMG's New York Tonight, a high-profile half-hour newscast fed by satellite at 5:30 weekday afternoons to cable systems, independent TV stations, and small-market radio stations. State-of-the-art news coverage, special segments on New York business, sports, and weather. Each day's top newsmaker and a live interview. The newscaster of record for New York State.
The federal government isn't going to give Albany any money for drugs to fight crime.
The state is what's helping the city, the local areas.
What's going on upstate as well as downstate.
You can react to the different problems that confront today's communities.
Hey, well, I'm a taxpayer, right?
Statewide Media Group is a grassroots company with its feet planted firmly in New York State. Most of us grew up here, went to school here. We know our issues, our towns, our people.
For over 2 years now, the owners of Statewide have been quietly listening to many of you tell them what you feel you need. Now we've assembled a team of over 50 professionals in journalism, sales, programming, marketing, and administration committed to fulfilling those needs.
We know breaking new ground is never easy. Let's keep our eyes open and see the future as an opportunity for growth, both on your end and ours. Thanks for joining us.